Abigail was the wife of Nabal. She became a wife of David after Nabal's death. Abigail is David's third wife, after Saul's daughter, Michal, whom Saul later married to Palti, son of Laish. When David went into hiding in Ahinoam, she became the mother of one of David's sons, who is listed in the Book of Chronicles under the name Daniel, in the Masoretic Text of the books of Samuel as Chileab, and in the Septuagint text of 2 Samuel chapter 3 verse 3 as Delta Alpha Lambda Omicron Upsilon Iota Alpha Dalouia. Biblical history. In the passage from 1 Samuel, Nabal demonstrates ingratitude towards David, and Abigail attempts to placate David in order to stop him taking revenge. She gives him food, and speaks to him, urging him not to have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed, and reminding him that God will make him a lasting dynasty. John Levinson calls this an undeniable adumbration of Nathan's prophecy in 2 Samuel chapter 7. Alice Bart notes that Abigail pronounces a crucial prophecy, and the Talmud regards her as one of the Tanakh's 7 female prophets. Levinson, however, suggests that she senses the drift of history from intelligence rather than from special revelation. After Abigail reveals to Nabal what she has done, Yahweh struck Nabal and he died, after which David married her. Abigail is described as intelligent and beautiful. The Talmud amplifies this idea, mentioning her as being one of the 4 women of surpassing beauty in the world. As the wife of the wealthy Nabal, she is also a woman of high socio-economic status. Whether David married her because he was attracted to her or as an astute political move, or both, is unclear. Abigail and David's third wife, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, accompany David and his war band when they seek refuge in Philistine territory, while David and his men were encamped near Jezreel, and when they are captured by Amalekites raided the town of Ziklag and carried off the women and children. David led the pursuit and they were subsequently rescued. Both wives then settle with David in Hebron, where Abigail gives birth to David's second son, Chileab. Abigail is also listed as one of the 7 Jewish women prophets, the other 6 being Miriam, Deborah, Hannah, Sarah, Huldah, and Esther. In terms of her moral character, Abraham Kuyper argues that Abigail's conduct indicates a most appealing character and unwavering faith, but Alice Barker regards her as subversive. Adele Berling contrasts the story of Abigail with that of Bathsheba. In one, the wife prevents David from murdering her foolish and greedy husband. In the second, David orders the murder of a good man because he desires his wife. In the Abigail story, David, the potential king, is seen as increasingly strong and virtuous, whereas in the Bathsheba story, the reigning monarch shows his flaws ever more overtly and begins to lose control of his family. Levinson and Halpern suggest that Abigail may, in fact, also be the same person as Abigail, mother of Amasa. Richard M. Davidson, however, points out that, on the basis of the final form of Old Testament canon, references to Abigail in the biblical accounts indicate 2 different individuals. Generic use. Abigail's self-styling as a handmaid led to Abigail being the traditional term for a waiting woman, for example as the waiting gentlewoman in Beaumont and Fletcher's The Scornful Lady, published in 1616. Jonathan Swift and Henry Fielding use Abigail in this generic sense, as does Charlotte Bronte. Anthony Trollope makes 2 references to the Abigail in the Eustace Diamonds at the beginning of chapter 42, whilst Thomas Mann makes the same reference at the start of the 2nd chapter of part 2 in Buddenbrooks. William Rose Bennett notes the notoriety of Abigail Hill, better known as Mrs. Massam, a lady-in-waiting to Queen Anne. George MacDonald Fraser makes mention of an Abigail fussing about the room in his novel Flashman from the Flashman Papers series. In art, Abigail is a featured figure on Judy Chicago's installation piece The Dinner Party, being represented in one of the 999 tiles of the heritage floor. Bibliography. Chicago, Judy. The Dinner Party, From Creation to Preservation. London, Merrill.